I made a post on Instagram that got a lot of traction 2 weeks ago. I didn't get a chance to talk about it last week, but I wanted to just briefly talk about it as far as so I had my son with me in All-Star. So this is something that I wanted to highlight because we made a post about it, but sometimes when you actually make it a real world case,
example?
It's easier for people to understand it because it's not just like a hypothetical thing. So, one of the benefits with being an employer is that you can employ your children, right? This is something that's extremely beneficial because it's like most of the time a child can't work. I think you can't get working papers in most states until you're like, 14 years
14.
old?
Yeah.
So that's one thing, right? But the rules are different for business owners.
Yes.
For business owners, you can employ your child as long as they can do a job, right? A 1-year-old can't be a computer scientist, guys. So don't
be stupid.
Yeah, they got to be older than 7.
Please.
Yeah. So just so y'all know, they got to be older than 7.
Yeah. But just use common sense.
Yeah.
But so my son is 12, right? So obviously he's old enough to work. He's old enough to do things. So we put him to work. He does a variety of different things. But one of the cool things about being a business owner is that the IRS allows you to put $12,950 a year. You can pay your child that. So here's the real benefit though, because that money that you pay your child is tax deductible to the business. So it's a tax deduction.
Yep.
And it's tax-free income to your child. Don't debate me on this, please. It's not debatable. So
you got on your red, you going to show Shotty today?
Slightly.
Like it.
So here's the thing. Why is this beneficial, right? Because you're gonna have to give your child money anyway, right? If you're a good parent, you're gonna have to give your child money anyway. So why not, instead of just giving them an allowance, why not actually pay them, have them work a job, right? Get to learn a business
and bond.
So you get that camaraderie, you get them to learn. Now you get inner workings as far as a family and business together, right? You're saving money by giving your child money now.
Absolutely.
Now, this is not just me giving you an allowance. Now I'm actually saving money because I'm paying you.
Yeah.
But you can also put a portion of that into a Roth IRA, right? Invest it for your child.
Yes.
And now that money is growing tax-free.
Yeah.
When they take it out for retirement, it's tax-free.
Yes.
Right? Or you can put it in an UTMA account and have it growing. So these are things where it's like little things like that. I spoke about this on the Breakfast Club. It's like you could put a couple $1,000s into a Roth IRA just for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And the compound interest on that, millions of dollars.
Easily.
In 40 years, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, the people are going to say, oh, well, it takes 40 years. Yeah. Well,
your kids are going to need money in 40 years.
Yeah, you're not going to need money when you're 60?
Yes.
And
that money is going to actually take care of the parent.
Yeah, in 40 years, they'll be 50.
Yeah.
Somebody had $1 million for you and said, you can't touch it until you're 60. Are you going to be mad about that?
At 20, maybe.
I'm just saying, as far as
but
you didn't do anything for it.
Yeah. Oh,
you didn't do anything for. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, this is just extra.
Yeah.
You still got money that you're making on your own. You're still living your life. It's just an extra added bonus.
And look how much of like an emotional cushion that gives you, like kind of like with the Iverson deal.
Exactly.
It was reported like
he may have lost a bunch of money.
Yeah, but it's like at least in 20 years it'll be there, so you have a cushion to take care of your family. And for my parents, the easiest win is to invest for your kids.
1,000%.
If you just hold for 10, 15 years through these cycles, my God, like you can be up 2,000, 3,000%. You pick the right companies long term and don't touch it.
And when you do that, man, it alleviates your children from having financial trauma.
Absolutely.
Right? Like they don't have to wonder whether I can't do this because we can't afford that.
Yeah.
Or I might have to sacrifice doing this because my family can't do, you know what I mean? It's just a different level of freedom that they have. And so they're able to explore and navigate through the world a little bit differently. And I feel like that becomes like one of those goals. As a parent, it's like I'm watching them just make decisions based because they want to try that.
And then another thing, like Derek Grace, I haven't really seen too much of his posts lately, but a couple years ago, he said something that was actually very insightful. His delivery wasn't the most compassionate, but it was actually some value in it when he was saying how, like, if I'm a business owner, right, and I work my whole life to start a business, and when my kid turns 16, they have to work at IHOP, that's my failure.
You failed.
Yeah.
That's real.
Because it's like, if I'm, what am I working for having a business? You need a job. You're working for me.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't get it out the mud, so you can go get it out the mud.
But it's not even that. It's not even just, it's just like your first priority is to your family. Right?
That's why most businesses
So it's like, if you want to work to make money, you're going to work for me.
Yeah.
If you make a decision not to work for me for whatever reason, that's your own personal decision.
Yeah.
Now you're on your own.
And you can't enjoy the benefits of the kingdom.
Exactly. But it's like,
but that's a conversation we just had,
Yeah.
like with Cheryl on the last episode. It was like the succession plan,
Yes.
right? Like, how often were they brought around it, right? Because sometimes you want to pass it down and they may not be interested. But at what point did you show them the benefits
Did you
of being
introduce them?
part of this, right? And show them like, yo, this is the hard work that comes with it.
Yeah.
And so it becomes a natural thing, right? With Don Peoples, where we see like, we speak to Don, but when you speak to his son, it's like, yo,
Yeah.
you can feel it. Like
Yeah.
he's been around this, he's entrenched in
Yeah.
this to the point where it's now it's like, yo, he's becoming the most trusted advisor to his dad. And rightfully so, because the company, there's certainly going to be, at a point, there's going to be succession. Like, he needs to take over this.
You
And you can feel it.
Do you think some parents are not sharing or involving their kids, either because they don't like the business or they're using the business to escape from the responsibility of being a parent?
I think most businesses, unfortunately, are not businesses. They're hustles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you don't have an employee. You don't have a plan. You're not really even making money.
No systems, yeah.
So you're working, you're a self-employed employee.
Mm-hmm.
You're a self-employed employee. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Where you're working a job and you're pretty much, the only thing is you just don't have a boss. But that's it.
Yeah.
So A, you're not in a position to hire your child. But B, it's not appealing for the child to even
Right.
be interested in doing that.
Why
Like,
do I?
why would I want to do this?
Exactly.
This
And
is
it's not working.
Yeah, it's taking my dad away from me. It's taking my mom away from me all this time. They've
Yeah.
had to work this hard. These are like, do I want to do that? Is that
Yeah.
something that I want
That's
to
a good
aspire to
point.
do?
Yeah.
And so it's like, all right, let's say my kid, since we're talking about him, he's already seeing this. So it's like, of course you would want to be involved in this.
Yeah.
What's your alternative?
Yeah.
Like, you want to work at the camp,
Yeah.
or you want to go
I
to
want
London?
them clothes he have on.
You want to go to London, or you want to work at the camp?
For real.
You make a decision.
Now it's be dripped out.
So it's like, at a certain point, that's not a difficult decision to make.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the exposure is important at a young age,
Mm-hmm.
because ultimately you want your children to work in the business.
Absolutely.
Because, like, why not? Right? That's the real world. That's the real way to kind of build the generational
And
wealth.
working outside of
So here's the interesting part is like, that really could be your life story, right? Like, so you watched your dad. Was that your experience when you were watching your dad become an entrepreneur? Are you looking at it like, I want to do that?
Yeah, well, see, my situation is a little different because I saw every aspect of it.
That's what I'm saying, right?
The ups and downs. Like,
downs of it.
Nasir,
right.
Nasir, he's seeing a different.
Seeing all ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
He's
He's
seen
seen the
all
highlight.
ups.
He's seen
the
the
highlight
game.
reels,
He's seen the
yeah.
highlight
He's
game.
getting like the highlight YouTube version of it. What I'm saying, like, you've seen all aspects of it.
But to answer your question,
at any point did it deter you to say like, maybe entrepreneur isn't for me? Or was like, yo, I'm getting to see the mistakes firsthand, so now I don't even have to make them because it becomes a blueprint.
both. No, it never was a thing where entrepreneurship wasn't for me.
Okay.
Because I always saw the value in being your own boss and watching him.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Even if there's ups and downs in being an entrepreneur. So, but for me, the freedom, the time, because it's like my mom is a teacher.
Yeah.
So that's the exact opposite. She didn't have freedom. She didn't have time. She had to go to work. She couldn't miss a day.
Yeah.
But my dad had luxuries and freedom as far as his time.
Yeah.
So that, to me, I'm like, I always gotta be able to. Nobody
Control
can
your
tell
time
me.
inventory.
Somebody can tell me I can't go to lunch
Yeah.
or I can't go to my kid's basketball game
Yeah.
because I gotta work overtime.
That's why you
Like,
quit the
you know what I'm
jobs you had.
saying? So,
Yeah.
but ironically, nobody has to tell me that now because I can't go because I'm just not around. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So it's like you trade one thing for
another,
That's
yeah.
just the
Yeah.
irony of life.
That'd be part of it. I don't think we talk about that though.
Yeah, and even see my dad, like same thing, like you see ups and downs,
Yeah.
but the joy that you see an entrepreneur have, knowing that like you can have a bad quarter
Yeah.
and in 1 week a contract can come through and it changes everything.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
joy and vigor that you
Yeah.
have, that's like, I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
When I saw other family members have more stable jobs and they work in the mill, but as soon as they got off work at 3, they complain from 3 to 9 at night.
Yeah, I'm
Every day.
I'm that end of the spectrum. Like I watched my parents go to work at 7:00 and they came home at 7:00.
Mm,
And so it was like, yo, damn. I had that mentality like, yo, I can't go to a professional career where I have to work for 35, 40 years.
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like I always tell my pops, I'm like, yo, there's no guarantee that if you work there 40 years, there's no guarantee that I can even get an interview at that job. It doesn't grant me
crazy to think
anything.
about.
And what it does do is take you out of the home more than you're in the home.
Absolutely.
Right? And so it was like, yo, damn. I wonder what that would be like for my kids.
Yeah.
And so I used to tell people all the time, like, yo, I'm not gonna be teaching for 25 years. They thought I was bugging out. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think 50 is gonna be that shit. Like, if I'm doing that at 50, something went wrong. They're like, yeah, 50, you gotta retire at 65. I'm like, nah, 50. They're like, what? At the time, I'm 35. Telling people,
you gotta enjoy life now.
I taught for 10 years. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing. They're like, well, what happens at 50? I'm like, if I haven't figured it out by then I've done something wrong.
Yeah.
Granted, we were doing other things to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I stopped being in the school district by 38.
Congrats.
Forget 50.
Vision is everything.
You see
and
what I'm saying?
you put, yeah.
It's watching them go to work all the time, and just being, it was like, damn, they working really hard, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? They miss things. Like, I watched his dad come to basketball games, and my parents couldn't come to basketball games because they had to work, because they had to provide, which was like extremely grateful for. But it was like, what happens on the other end of that? That level of support, that level of being present in those things.
Yeah.
That's the freedom.
And we see it with our kids. That time together is the real bag. You can give the kid all the money in the world. Your kid wants time.
Yep.
I asked that, hey, you want to go here, want to go there? He wants me to watch Kalis on YouTube and watch Mr. Beast or watch Fortnite. I'm like, oh, we can go to the Rockets game and be front court. He's like, let's play Fortnite.
Yeah.
The time with your kid is the real bag. Time is
we on a Naruto phase in my house, so I'm doing a lot of training right now.
Got you.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.